Well, yeah.
So we're back post
We
race.
are back. We are back. We need to post yesterday's one as well. Is it posted already?
Yes. Huh?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Yesterday's video has been posted
It
online
hasn't been
already.
posted yet because I'm still cutting up the clips, which I wanted to talk to you
Oh,
about because are we being are we being diplomatic in our posts or are we like, going for the juggler? Because yesterday, for example, you said, "Who is
mhm.
Isaac Hajar?" Oh, what happened?
Yeah, I did say that.
And poor
Okay.
Isaac,
Where did he go?
poor Isaac had a
Let
DNF.
me see.
I think he spun out
I
the
thought, okay.
like the first corner or something like that.
hmm
So
Yeah,
I kind of
before the race even started.
yeah, yeah, doing the warm up laps,
To be
and
fair,
I was
I'm,
like,
I think just FYI, I think it'll be really cool if we just post. Ideally, it'll be straight stream to YouTube because then there's like
that's
no trying. You know what I mean? It's
no delay, exactly.
what we
So
said.
that's but you know what I
Yeah.
was thinking? Maybe we could do
hmm
Instagram until we can get like the followers up on YouTube to go live because I don't know if it's the same thing in the UK, but in the US, you have to have like 50 followers on YouTube, which we never leaned into that the last time. So
Okay.
we kind of have no followers. So in order to go live on YouTube over here, we have to have at least 50 followers on YouTube. So I was thinking
Okay. Cool.
because Instagram records the live anyway,
Mm. Yeah.
maybe we could go live in on Instagram instead of recording on Zoom. Maybe that's an option.
There is an option. Yeah, for sure. But what I think will be also good, just because of the format of this, and the way it
Hmm.
looks set in, I think hopefully we can kind of like do some overlay stuff. Um, I think Instagram will be a good place to to kind of like go to and be like just have a quick little live and then kind of get people onto the
Yeah,
YouTube channel. Does that make sense? As
that
opposed
makes
to just
perfect sense.
doing it, yeah, on YouTube. Um, but yeah, we've got the first race out of the way. I think anytime you're free in the coming
Yeah,
days, jump on Instagram, get everyone to subscribe on our live, and I think that'll work. I think that'll be good.
I think so too. I think so too because there are a lot of after I went over because it was a pretty long stream. There's a lot of
Yeah,
like good takeaways from it.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
good takeaways. So I'm just gonna drop all of that content, like all of the clips, into the Google Drive, so you can have a look, have a
Okay,
post, whichever you prefer. It's a lot of clips. Like
okay,
CapCut is good too.
okay. Cool. So yeah, I've been using
CapCut is
CapCut.
good.
I've been using
Yeah.
CapCut.
So I'm really excited because a lot of what we talked about yeah, yesterday
Yeah,
kind of came
yeah.
up.
I'm not saying I'm a genius, but let me just look through. If I recall correctly, I said
Mhm.
Russell won't finish any higher than third, and he
Yes.
finished third.
Yes, you
Uh,
did.
I also said something about did I say something about Yuki?
Yeah, we said a lot about Yuki actually. We did.
Yeah, I can't remember what I said about Yuki.
Him
Chris,
primarily him not getting to see that Red Bull after
yes,
everything.
yes. Oh yeah, and in relation to I'm trying this is mad. Before we go into the race, I got to just kind of retract and like we'll go look back and think about all the things I said. I think naturally, yeah, Ferrari is something we got to speak about. It was just a freaking mad race. It was
It
crazy
was.
for the rookies. Um, Lawson DNF, so there you go.
Mhm.
Um, granted, Yuki he qualified like what fifth or fourth, and he finished 12th. So that's not great.
Yeah, but like I think the towards the end of the race, all that happened
Yeah,
was like the rain and the pit stops. It was mad. It was like
it was
so much
mad.
going on. I didn't even know where to focus my attention. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, is it raining? Is it not raining? Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
like that's. And remember, I did say something about Ferrari in terms of the constructors like making mistakes, and they did make a mistake this time in terms of like deciding to, yeah, keep their drivers um in the in what in hard, put switch them to hard tires and leave them like that. And then they switched
Much.
it into intermediates like mad late, I think.
I think,
Um,
but then again, like who's to know? You know what I mean? Whose strategy is
true, yeah,
right?
true, 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 true. Um, Anyway, neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Alonso was another surprise as well of him like crashing out. He was chatting. You remember? I'm not sure if you saw the interview, but there was an interview where he was talking about the rookies, and someone asked him, "How do you feel about there being so many rookies this season?" And he's like, "Great, I've got more experience than them." Blah 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 blah. And he crashed out in the rain. So there you go.
Oh, that did not age well.
Yeah, that didn't age well at all. Um, but yeah, race one on that has been done and dusted. What did we
Yep.
learn? What did we learn? Absolutely nothing. What?
Well, we learned it doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet, you still can
You can still,
spin out in a
yeah,
race. You still
crash
can have
out.
a crash.
Yeah,
You still can have a DNF. You know what I mean?
yeah,
There were six rookies, and ironically, there were six DNFs. Two of them were veterans, Sainz and
yeah,
Alonso.
yeah. Everyone's in new cars now, so it's gonna
Yep.
happen, you know. Man, I don't know how I feel about this, man. I wish it was just a normal race with normal sun and we get to see like, but good news is we ain't got long before the is it Japan next?
I think it is Japan next.
Yeah, we ain't got long before Japan. And yeah, we get to see these cars again. But yeah, what was your
Mhm.
thoughts? What was your did you stay up? Did you stay up to like I mean for you it was like 12 in it.
It- I stayed up, and then the TV is still having the same problem. I try. Apparently, I am not the only person that's had this problem with F1 TV.
Oh
I
really?
went
Damn.
down a whole Reddit rabbit hole and noticed that this has been going on for quite a number of years.
That's
So I
crazy.
go through, I, of course, I do the normal thing of, plugging out your TV, all that stuff, resetting it. I go as far as doing a factory reset on my TV.
That is mad though. If you're paying for it, no, that's crazy.
None of that worked. So now I am incensed because this is literally the only way that, you know what I mean, I can watch the entire race without interruptions and feel okay. Like,
Yeah.
no, I can't watch it on cable. I don't have cable. Like, barely
Mhm.
anybody I know has cable. It's too damn expensive and you don't get shit for it. So I'm a little incensed because I kept having to restart the damn broadcast, and then after a certain point, I think I kind of snoozed, and then I jumped up at like three something in the morning because my neighbors were having a party and was mad loud. So I tried to rewatch it again, and it was doing the same thing. So I finally just got fed up and watched it in pieces, and then watched the 30-minute race highlight,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the
But
same.
yeah. Well, I mean, there are some links in it on like, I mean, I shouldn't say this, but there are ways around it. You know what I mean? You can like type some stuff, and watch some streams illegally if you really
That's
wanted
what I
to.
that's what I get for sticking by the rules. That's what I get.
I'm just saying, there's always a way. There's always a what's it called again? When you use a VPN,
Yeah.
you can do the
Hmm.
VPN thing, and
I do
then
have a VPN actually. I do.
it's just letting you know what I mean? If you don't want any interruptions, you can
Yeah.
always do that. Winky, winky, hint, hint, hint. But yeah, no, this is I don't I watched the highlights too. I'm not yeah. I just had a feeling I just had a feeling I can sleep and not feel like I've you know what I mean? Don't feel like I've
You're
missed anything
absolutely
too
right.
crazy.
You
Um
absolutely.
so
I,
that
I do say though
uh
that the the standings after the race are pretty interesting. Like when you look at it, you're like,
yeah, like what are your thoughts? What's your thoughts on it?
first, second, third, not surprised at all. Like
Mm-hmm.
at all. After that, I'm a little like, "Hmm,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Kimmy, of course,
Let's
I'm
go for it. Let's
pleased.
go for it. Let's see.
I'm pleased
Yeah.
for, little Kimmy.
Kimmy almost lost it, you know. Kimmy almost was like
I
got a
know.
five.
Did you see that?
Yeah, he would have got that
He
what the
spun
five
out
second penalty?
and avoided the wall. And I was like, how? But thank God,
Mm, yeah,
because it could have been disastrous.
yeah, man. He's got his wits about him. I mean, that's what you need. You need a bit of luck,
Mhm,
you need a bit of
mhm.
skill. So shout out Kimi Antonelli finishing his first Grand Prix P4. Um,
Yes.
Lando Norris. I mean, what was your thoughts on Lando Norris's race as a whole? Lando Norris and
I thought the McLaren's going off. What was it? Lap 44 was
yeah, they
interesting.
both
I
went
was
off.
like,
Yeah,
"Ooh," both of them in the gravel. And then
yeah,
Oscar in the grass. Shout out to Oscar. Okay. Shout out to Oscar. He's not a grouch because he could have stayed
yeah,
over there in that grass and weathered away like a little leaf.
yeah.
Okay. Or a little
Oh
rain in
my
the sun.
days, I'm remembering now. You're right. He
That
was
was
like
amazing.
so far behind, and he was like, it took him a while to reverse out of it.
No. But the fact that he
Mhm.
kept trying, the fact that he got himself out, the fact that he got back on track and came in ninth ahead of Lewis is quite impressive.
Oh my gosh. It's impressive, but it's also as a Lewis Hamilton fan, it's kind of embarrassing. Um, yeah, I mean, he was in the grass for what felt like a good 2 minutes,
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
and then
He
he
was at the back of the field.
reversed out of it, and he still beat Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Uh,
How?
anyway,
How?
we're at
How,
McLaren
Sway?
now. Let's stick with McLaren.
Yeah. Uh Lando's drive was pretty impressive. I mean, from not letting Max, come back at all to basically overtake is it's especially after going off track, going into gravel, riding out
Mhm.
both of them. How did that even happen? Because I don't think I saw that.
When Verstappen got overtook?
When Lando and Oscar went off into the gravel that first time. Because I think they were focusing on the midfield at the time.
Mhm.
And by the time the camera cut back, they were already in the gravel. So I didn't actually
Yeah,
see what preceded that.
yeah. That's what happens when you watch the highlights. But what
Yeah.
I think they were just kind of racing. You know what I mean? Like racing each other. Um, and obviously it was rain. It was wet.
Hmm.
So obviously I'm assuming late braking. And also the pressure of like having you know what I mean, someone's trying to pass you from behind. And then it's not just Oscar, it's Verstappen.
Yep.
There was a someone said something along the lines of I remember hearing something about Norris was saying uh he understands how to you know what I mean to race with Verstappen now. He learned some lessons from last year.
Hmm.
And I think one of the lessons is just kind of like keep like race your race and don't let him put you under pressure. Just place your car in a sensible place on track and keep your composure because Verstappen's gonna try and do some stupidness.
Pretty much.
Um,
He is not your friend on
and
track.
no, and so yeah, I was happy. I was it would have pissed me off if I saw Verstappen. You know what I mean, P1. That would have just annoyed me. So I'm happy for McLaren. I'm happy for Lando Norris. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know. It was a messy race. Like,
It
I
really
love
was.
those wet races when it's like when the guys you're supporting are doing the right things. When they're
Hmm.
changing, you know what I mean, changing their tires at the right time, and when they're yeah, and they feel confident, they've got traction, they've got grip. Um,
When the strategy is
I-
on point.
yeah, that used to be Lulu, but
Yeah.
not anymore. It's
Not anymore. Not anymore.
yeah.
I mean, are you concerned by the 10th place position?
Uh, am I concerned? You know what I feel like right now? Because I've seen Lewis Hamilton from the get-go. I just want to see him be Lewis Hamilton of old, which is um someone that is just at least miles ahead of the majority of the other. drivers on track. And unfortunately, it's just not that. He's like in the middle of the pack. And I know it's a new car, and I know he's getting
Mhm.
used to it, and I know it's the first race, and I know it was raining, but I'm like, where's Lewis Hamilton, where it's like Lewis Hamilton in a car is kind of a cheat code. I don't get that feeling anymore. Especially
Yeah.
when Oscar passed. Yeah, I mean, it was like Leclerc and Hamilton. And when Oscar passed him and split the Ferraris, I was like, especially
What?
considering like he was like reversed out of the grass after like just
Yeah.
waiting there for time. It's like, what the hell, man? All right, cool. Let me get. I'm not gonna lie. I've got one more race for Lewis Hamilton. I've got one more. And it's not Japan, it's China, the Chinese Grand Prix. Let's see what he does in China. Um, but after that, I'm just kind of like, all right, whenever you figure out, I'm there for you. But I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to hear he's trying to figure out the buttons or he's learning how to drive a Ferrari new engine. Don't want to hear it because you've done it with McLaren and you did it with Mercedes. Just do it with Ferrari. Because if you can't do it with Ferrari, that means it's not the cars, it's you.
I mean,
Yeah. And
I
that's
can't argue
that
with that.
sometimes you gotta talk to the people you love with honesty. And that's just how I feel. Lewis Hamilton, you're a freaking legend. There's no one on that grid is more of a reason why I'm watching Formula One than Lewis Hamilton.
This is
Um,
true.
so with love, yo, let's start. Do you know what I mean? Let's make this season a season where we're excited because you're in the runnings. If it's not that, then it's like, all right, cool. Well, let me continue watching these white boys. I mean, do this thing because that's what it's gonna be again. Um, yeah, man. Let's get aggressive. Let's just yeah. Let's get aggressive. Let's be in competition with the Stappens and the Norrises and the boring George Russells and you know what I mean and the new boy Antonelli. Let's get in there. If it's not that, Lou, I'm sorry. You always look amazing. You know you look amazing in the red and blah 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 blah. But I just don't care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Don't care if Lewis Hamilton's not winning. Don't care. Like you might as well
I
just be
agree.
a, for the whole sport and just yeah. You
I'm
got
gonna okay. Before I think before I got back into Formula One, I wasn't really watching the races. I was watching the highlights, if I'm gonna be really honest. I was watching the
yeah,
highlights on
same.
YouTube. I wasn't watching the races. I
Yep.
think like even more recent, like 10 years ago, is when I kind of
Mhm.
really decided, okay, maybe I should try to get into it and watch, the races. I'd watch
Yeah.
them periodically. Then Drive to Survive came, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to watch all of these races
Yeah.
because now I'm fully invested because it's Netflix and I love a good sports documentary. But I think you're right. I think it's gonna be one of two things now. It's gonna be, is it his age? Has he lost it? Because you did say the Lewis Hamilton of old, and I got to thinking, me and him about the same age. We
Mm.
kind of old, just a little bit.
Hey,
You
I
know what I
would
mean?
never say
I'm just saying, like, we're about the
that.
same age. We are not in our 20s no more. Mind you, he's a high performance athlete. Like,
Hmm.
his body is probably in tip top shape.
Hmm.
But at the same time, when you get a little older, those experiences, those collective experiences kind of, inform decisions that you, as a 20-year-old, you would not make.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Like, I have a wealth of life experience that at 40, I wouldn't be making the same decisions I'm making at 20. It just wouldn't
Hmm.
happen. So I think one could argue that, maybe he's a little bit more, and I don't think this is the truth, but I think these are going to be conversations that come up that people are probably going to say, his reaction time is probably going to be slower because he's a little bit older. He's probably going to be a little bit more cautious, all of that. The man still jumps out of airplanes, still
Mm.
skydives, still does that cross, whatever that damn down mountain skiing crap is, because I don't know how he can stand to be that cold. So I'm not trying to hand on it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to hear he's too old to do this because at the end of the day, like, I can still dip it and do it with the best of them. I just choose not to.
Mhm.
I can make that decision. I can choose not to be pulled in. But
Yeah.
if I get pulled in, I'm gonna handle my business. So I don't want to hear all of that. It's because of his age. Another thing, he's probably not used to the car. Well, we've seen him go to other teams and jump right in.
Mhm.
So
And it's
what
not
is
like
it?
it's any team. Ferrari is not no
It's
random
Ferrari.
racing point. It's Ferrari, and they had a
But
great
then
season last.
again, you got to be on Lewis's side a little bit. It's Ferrari. What the hell is their strategy? Does Ferrari even know their strategy? This is like an ongoing joke.
Yeah, true, 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 true. But again, listen, let's look through the teams that Ferrari were behind, right? McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes, fair.
Hmm.
Williams, Albon came fifth. That's mad. We know
Hmm.
Williams are doing their thing.
Yep.
Sad to see signs crash out as well. But
Number
yeah,
six is
you
where it
know,
gets a little tricky.
yeah, Williams will be fine. Guess who came sixth?
That's what I'm
Aston
saying. Number
Martin,
six is where it gets a little tricky. Because
Lance Stroll. Now, if we're talking about teams that like with a load of issues in terms of their constructors,
uh-huh.
Aston Martin are like number one. You know what I mean? Of last season, I mean, in terms of teams that have high you expect a lot from, Aston Martin, just as a car brand, is one of those respectable
Yes, it
British
is.
car companies. But in Formula One, they've fallen. You know what I mean, they've had a terrible go of it. And Lance Stroll, who's the kid we were just laughing at yesterday, because I'm like, he's
Yep.
only there because his daddy. You know what I mean? But he came sixth. He came sixth. And then in seventh, Kick Sauber Ferrari. Kick Sauber Ferrari.
Did not see that coming. I'm gonna tell you that much right now.
That's crazy. So we got
I'm not
Ferrari,
saying he's going to be
Ferrari.
a great driver.
We got we got Ferrari, and then we got Kick Sauber Ferrari. And
Yeah.
right, this is in the rain, so on and so forth. But I'm just saying, if my B team is doing better than my A team in any,
That
we've got to have
part.
a conversation. We
We
have to
have
have,
a problem.
and then you have Leclerc, and then you got Oscar Piastri, and then you got
Hmm.
Hamilton. And it's
Hmm.
like, I know it's not going to be the case throughout the season, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't look good. You know what I mean? For the board, doesn't look good.
Nope.
Um, and yeah, man, I think because I'm so anyone that's a Lewis Hamilton fan for as long as we've been Lewis Hamilton fans, we're just sick and tired of seeing Lewis Hamilton not win or not
That
be in the
part.
running. And so, yeah, man, like all this hype, all these ads and all this promotion of Lewis Hamilton in red and what does it mean and blah 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 blah. I'm glad he didn't crash out or you know what I mean spin out or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, just pedal to the metal, man. Pedal to the metal and just do something crazy to just win, man. Just win. I want to see Lewis Hamilton competitive again. I want to see Ferrari competitive.
Uh,
Um, yeah, this
Parts.
crazy. Lance Stroll, crazy.
Lance Stroll has 8 points now
Yep.
after the first race up in Australia to Lewis
Yep.
Hamilton's one.
Mm,
And yeah, I find that a little shocking, to say the least.
yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I
Um,
mean, hey, hopefully it puts a battery in his back.
yeah, that part. And are we saying that Lance Stroll is, a horrible, terrible driver? I've seen worse.
Yeah, he's not terrible.
Yeah, I think
He's
he's
like
pretty
he's
out of.
like a yeah, he's like a he's like a I don't even know who to compare him
Are
to.
we struggling to give him a compliment? God
Not
damn.
even that. I'm trying to compare him to someone. Like, who would you compare him to? Because I remember when he had a good-ish season. When he
Yeah,
was like, when Aston Martin were kind of like, oh, it's out of Aston, like Ferrari, like they were like, I remember Alonso was up there. Do you know what I mean? With
yeah.
Red Bulls and um, And yeah, Lance Stroll was causing some problems, but that was like one season.
At
Or
least
was
he's
it
better
more than
than
one? You can tell
Mazapan.
me. Hmm?
At least he's better than Mazapan. He's unproblematic in that way. You know, I could not stand Nikita Mazepan. Could not stand that boy. Could not
Why?
stand
That's so
that boy.
funny. I remember that name.
Could not stand his racist,
Oh, is it?
problematic
I can't
ass.
remember that.
Was it racism? It was an ism. It was either what do you call it? Like I don't want to go as far as did he, but he's problematic when it comes to like women and stuff like that, as far as I
Oh, was it
remember.
something to do with like being Russian at the time?
That whole thing.
Ah,
That
yeah,
that whole thing. Do you remember that whole
forgot about
thing?
that. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I didn't forget. I did not forget.
forgot about
Very
that. That was about,
problematic.
that was during the time when like obviously Ukraine and
Yeah, when I was out here calling them colonizers, because that's exactly what they were out here
oh
acting
shoot,
like.
yeah, that's mad. And then they had to get rid of that whole team.
Yeah. Very problematic. I have not
Yeah.
forgotten. So Lance Stroll,
Ah,
you
that was the
good
whole
by
thing,
me.
wasn't it?
You good by me, bro. Because at least you're not that bad.
Well,
You could be worse.
who would you confer who would you not
Compare Lance Stroll to?
compare? Yeah, in terms of driving
Um,
style.
that's a tough one. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because he's not like super aggressive to where it's dangerous. But
but
he's
I don't
also
think you
not
can.
timid
Yeah,
to the point where he won't make a decision or
he's
won't
like
make a move.
wishy-washy.
Yeah.
I he's like very wishy-washy. He's like
It's like he's
you can
not super
tell.
confident in the fact that he belongs on the team.
Yeah,
He's always trying to prove everyone else wrong. This is, and listen, I don't know this man. I'm just
mm,
saying what I've
the
seen over
sense
the
you get.
seasons. Like
Yeah.
it feels like I think that he is a good driver. I do. I think he couldn't have made it this far if he wasn't. I think he would have killed himself or somebody else by now, if that was the case.
Okay.
So clearly he has
Fair.
some level of talent to be in that car.
Hmm.
However, I also think there's a certain type of person who can transcend the whole nepotism thing. And
Hmm.
for example, the only time you really hear of Joseph Verstappen is when people are talking about the fact that he used to abuse Max, which I think abuse is a far of a stretch.
That's funny.
Do you see
That's
what I'm
great.
saying? Max
Yeah.
has transcended his father's whole like position in Formula One. It's no longer
Mm.
about his dad, it's about him.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's Max first. It's not Joseph Verstappen. Like, let me
Yeah,
just put that up here. I think
yeah.
for Lance, even though his father's never been a driver, his father is a billionaire.
Mm.
That's a very big shadow to fall behind.
Yeah.
And I think for Lance, he's probably always been in that position where, his dad loves him, he gets whatever he wants, and he does what he loves. But at the same time, I feel like there's probably like this chip that tells him, if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be here. And I think he needs to get
Mhm.
that out of his head.
Yeah. You know what it is? You know, it's a mad example, but I hear people talking about um this owner, and it reminds me of the Aston Martin um Stroll family situation. It's like, people talk about the Dallas Cowboys, right? And they talk about Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Imagine if Jerry Jones had a son that was a quarterback and and he was like Lance Stroll. So he wasn't that good, but he was never gonna lose his position. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that's like the Cowboys. Like,
That's
I'm
like
not, let's see here. The Cowboys are America's team. And now you done got me into
mm,
something that I'm also very
yeah, I
passionate
know we're
about.
going somewhere else now,
It's American football, okay? Like,
innit?
but let's be for real. The last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, okay? Like, let's just,
Yeah.
and hey, I'm not just saying that because I'm from Boston and I'm a
Mhm.
lifelong Patriots fan. I'm not just saying that, but I'm just saying if that were the case,
Yeah.
I think it would work because they ain't that good anyway. Like,
Yeah. But that's my point. That's my thing about Aston Martin. I'm like, Aston Martin ain't that good. They're trying to be good, and I think they got the potential to be good. But it's
right.
like, this is like unnecessary shade. I apologize, Lance Stroll. You're not that bad, but I'm like, it's just like I look at Lance Stroll as the all right guy that's never gonna lose his job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The
like he
all
has
right,
job security.
yeah. It's like you're good there.
Yeah.
You don't need to. There's someone else that could be it. How the fact that you're, yeah, man. What Bottas should. Anyway, let me leave it. Let me leave it alone. Where else are we at in the grid? Let's go in the grid. So we've kind of gone through the
One to
first couple of
six.
pages. We spoke about McLaren. Obviously, Verstappen came second. He's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a problem all season. We just know, and this is what I'm
Yep.
saying about the Hamilton thing. It's like I don't care what's happening on if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's whatever. Like we know, no matter what, 9 times out of 10, Verstappen's going to be in the mix because he's Verstappen and he's just a problem. Whereas Lewis
Facts.
Hamilton, we kind of give him loads of lies and excuses because we like him.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why someone that was off the track for 2 minutes can then come back on the track. I don't care if it's the
And
fastest.
overtake you.
You're in a Ferrari and he passes you before the end of the Grand Prix. It's mad. Um, Shout out Antonelli. I'm happy for him. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna be a problem all season. And well done, Russell, for finishing third. I did predict it would be third and nothing higher, so I'm kind of gassed at that.
Yep.
Williams. I think they're gonna be a problem. I actually personally think we'll see what happens after the Chinese Grand Prix, but it does seem to me that it's gonna be Ferrari and Williams and maybe Mercedes leading that 3 horse race. Um
In the midfield.
uh
In the midfield.
Yeah. So the way I see it is like McLaren and Red Bull. That's they're doing their thing, and then it's Mercedes, Ferrari, and
Williams.
Williams.
Yep. No, you're
I
right.
think those they're gonna be trying to figure that out, and then after that it's I mean and it's I mean the second teams of the Ferrari, the second team of the Red Bulls, and I mean the Haases
Yep.
and the blah blah blah. But that's the sense I'm getting. I hope that at least one of those teams moves away from the midfield and starts challenging the McLarens and the Red Bulls because I think that's when we get the best seasons when it's like a
Yeah.
three. I
A
mean,
3 horse race. I agree.
you know what I mean. I think that's when it's the best thing. So shout out Albon, and hopefully science comes through. I'm actually supporting slightly. But I'm not supporting Ferrari. I'm supporting Williams. So just do something crazy because they're a classic British team. Um,
Exactly. I agree with
after
that.
after that. Kick Saba. I mean, Nico Hulkenberg is going crazy. Last season he had a mad
No.
season. Kick Saba this year came seventh. Um, can we talk about like Charles Leclerc as well? Because everyone keeps talking about
What do
Ferrari.
you want to talk
Um,
about? Poor Charlie. Charlie,
I don't like. I don't
how
know.
do
I
you
remember
feel
when
about his performance?
I don't. Do you remember when like Charles Leclerc was like a problem? Do
Yeah.
you remember when he was like, "Oh my days"?
Yeah.
Like
I do.
he was a threat, like him and Vettel, and it was you were saying his name in the same vein as the uh just it was he was the guy.
I remember that
Um
because I remember saying that I don't think Science is going to have an opportunity to really, show us what he's made of because all the focus is on Charlie. I do remember that.
yeah. And then I remember that kind of fizzling out a little bit because obviously Ferrari had their
Hmm.
problems, but I definitely vividly remember when like Carlos Sainz was the guy.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Um Even though it wasn't really spoken about, like I think in a weird way I'm more aware of like Charles Leclerc's fading prowess because he's now with another person that's got that a bit of that fading prowess. You know what I mean? It's like the great team, the great drivers, but what are they doing? It's
Doing.
it's like again maybe it's
Yeah,
too
I
early.
agree.
it might be too early, but I'm like, I don't get why they're both there. Why are they both at eighth and 10th? Why? I
It
mean,
might
again,
be
maybe.
too early. It might be rain. It might be a host of things. All I know is it's a little disconcerting to think about. What if the rest of the season is like this?
Mm.
I think
And
that's my
again, I was going to say a lot of the things I'm saying. This is not from logic. I'm not, of course, yeah.
emotion.
Certain decisions were made about tires and certain decisions were made, blah blah blah. So this is not. It's very difficult to. Do you know what I mean? To say, oh, they're out for the count after this race.
Mhm.
It's impossible to say that. But I get a gut feeling that Charles Leclerc is not Charles Leclerc, and you know what I mean? I get a gut feeling that I'm like people are talking about Oscar Piastri like
I know.
he's a better racing driver
Then
than a
Charles
Charles
Leclerc.
Leclerc, and I'm like, does that?
Well, from the race today, earlier,
Yeah,
Oscar's not looking so bad. I mean,
yeah,
listen, I am impressed by the fact that he got out of that grass in the first place, let alone to come back and overtake Lewis Hamilton to get number nine, to get the
yeah,
nine,
yeah.
number nine.
I'm not actually that impressed that he reversed. I mean, you find I'm not. I mean, I've never driven a Formula One car in it, so maybe I'm talking with complete ignorance. But I'm like, I never understood why they struggled to press the reverse button and reverse out of. Like, just reverse, man. Press the reverse.
But not
Anyway.
okay. Put this into context. Wet grass. Like I
Hmm.
have gotten stuck on wet grass. I have spun out on wet grass. Don't ask me
Hmm.
what I was doing. Things I wasn't supposed to. That's not the point.
Okay.
The point is
Hmm.
I have had the challenge of trying to get out of wet grass and basically got out of the car and told my younger brother was like, you deal with it. Because I'm not doing it.
Mm.
Because then you
Okay.
get into the whole mud thing and you're gonna get stuck. I know that's not the case probably at, Albert Park. I know they probably have pretty nice grass,
Hmm.
but I'm pretty sure it being wet, it's still slippery.
Yeah. So there's like a certain amount of revs and how slow you
Hmm.
can reverse out of it. I get it. Um. So yeah,
And he
no, well
wasn't
done.
that close to the track either. He was like in there.
He was
He was
way in.
about,
Yeah, he was way in.
yeah.
He was way in. Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
I feel you.
impressed. I'm impressed.
Yeah. If anything, I'm more impressed with the fact that he was able to catch up
Yeah,
and pass Lewis Hamilton. And if the race was a bit longer, he would have eventually passed um
I agree.
Leclerc.
I
Um,
I completely
this
agree.
is yeah. As a fan, as a not a Ferrari fan necessarily, but as a Lewis Hamilton fan, I want to forget about this week, and I really want to bring on next week. And and yeah, I just want this to make sense. I just need to see this season start making sense. I want to be able to logically break down why things are happening and what I can foresee happening in the coming, at least the next couple races before, do you know what I mean? People start doing madness and changing pieces in the
Yeah.
car. Because it's just like, it's just so what the hell? Like, what the hell was that race? And
That was a wet Australian GP where anything. And I
yeah,
think, well, that's why we like Formula One. That's why we love Formula One. That's why we keep coming back because literally anything can happen. And it
yeah,
might not be what you like. It might not be
wow.
what you want, but it's gonna happen.
That be true. That be
Those
true.
two horses in the back. I mean, I guess I wasn't too surprised.
Yeah,
Ollie Behrman, at least he finished the race, as far as I'm concerned. At this point,
yeah, well done, Ollie.
well done,
Um,
because could have went differently. So we only have Ollie
yeah,
and Kimmy as the rookies finishing the race, which I'm not shocked by Kimmy at all. I think the way they kind of talked up Liam Lawson, I kind of expected a little bit more, but I understand. Um,
yeah, yeah.
kind of do understand. Poor Isaac Hajar, after you called him out yesterday. Here
Hmm.
he comes. during the
Wait,
warm
what
up.
happened to Liam Lawson again? How did he not finish again? What was his thing?
Didn't he crash? Pretty sure he crashed. He like had a spin.
Did he ever spin? Damn, because
Mhm.
like if he had a spin, let me double check really quickly what happened to Liam Lawson because I'm not gonna lie, he qualified terribly. Firstly, and retires from Soken Australia after disappointing weekend. Let me see if it shows it. I'm trying to see what happened because yeah, like you can't qualify that badly, and like I'm so curious. I'll find out what happened to Liam Lawson. Um, yeah, I don't know what happened to Liam Lawson.
Yeah, I'm looking myself. All I see is a crash. Tough weekend. After what? Slick tire.
Yeah, I don't know what
After
happened to. I need to.
it's failed slick tire gamble in Australia.
And he what spun off.
Here, he did.
Hey man, you got one more of these and you're a dud. You get one more. You get one more. I
I don't
don't
know,
care.
Christian
Like,
Horner
you
is
cannot
good.
get signed to Red Bull as another one of Verstappen's like, I mean, teammates and be rubbish. It's like it's just crazy. Because then it looks like a conspiracy. The amount of shit looks crazy. Like everyone that goes with Verstappen, it's like they hire people that or get rid
They
of people
know?
that.
Okay. Because even the whole, I remember when Perez was there and I kept saying to myself, like, why is he putting himself through this? Like,
Yeah.
you're like the redheaded stepchild over there, bro. And now I see when that happened, when I saw how Sergio was kind of fighting for his place on that team, then I could
Mm,
not blame Daniel Ricciardo for leaving. Because then I was like, oh, okay, he probably saw the writings on the wall. He knew what this was going to be about.
yeah. But I'm to
But now
hey,
to
as a
find
compet
out
go on.
that there was almost a chance for Verstappen to go to Mercedes from the get
Yeah,
go, I was like, huh, that's interesting.
yeah.
Didn't know that.
Mm, I don't know,
Don't
man.
know
For
how I feel
me,
about it.
as a competitive person, if I'm on Red Bull, you're gonna yeah. I don't care what my goal is to be number one. I don't care
Hmm.
who I'm with. And the fact that it's Verstappen is like, all right, watch this. I think, and for some reason, I never get that feeling with the drivers that are teammates with Verstappen. They always seem to kind of like, even you know what I mean, Christian Horner. This guy was telling him saying the craziest thing on radio, and everyone's like, okay, whatever you say. I'm like, I would be
That
the
is true.
worst teammate, the worst teammate, and I also think Yuki Tsunoda would probably be the same way, which is why they didn't.
Yeah.
Why they
Because you
didn't.
know, as fun as he is, as chill as he appears to be when he gets on the track, that little man ain't scared of nobody.
Yeah, he ain't scared of no one. So yeah,
So I
Yuki's
know
my
that was
guy.
probably a no go for Max because Yuki's not gonna care about team strategy, especially if he's he's having a faster day.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
He's not gonna care who Max is.
It's like the rhetoric in Red Bull is no matter what, keep Verstappen happy. And I
Yeah.
hate that. I hate that.
I mean, but why? Are we saying that Max Verstappen is not worth the effort? He's not
I
worth
think
the
he's just an asshole sometimes.
but
I think he's just
hey,
an asshole.
hey, hold on
Nah,
now.
dude.
And maybe I'm
No.
softening to Max. I am. Hear me out. Let me tell you why. So over the break, I
Hmm.
was kind of noticing, when the joke came about him wearing team kit to the baby shower and all that stuff. And I was
Hmm.
like, I kind of started softening because I realized that one, he's maybe a little bit too passionate about racing to the point where it's kind of obsessive. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like an OCD type thing. For two, what really got me. And yes, guys, I'm a mom. So things like this are really gonna, and I'm a single mom. So things like this are really gonna touch me.
Mm-hmm.
Is remember Max is with Kelly PK, right?
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Max is with Kelly. Kelly was with, I don't remember who the F1 driver was that she was before, but she had a child with that F1 driver before,
Mm-hmm.
Penelope. And the way how Max interacts with that little girl, I just, I melt. I do. I don't know. Like she has him
Hey,
wrapped around her little
well,
finger, and he's just so attentive. And I listen. I get it. He's horrible on track. He drove over Lewis's head.
you know,
Yes, I
one
know.
nice thing, and then you forgot about all the
I
arsehole
did.
stuff he
I
done.
did. I was like, he's so like, and it's not just one clip. It's all the clips of her being, in the paddock and him being so attentive to her, leaving on and off the track. I like the fact that there's some type of like humanity behind the whole
Mm-hmm.
persona. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm softening. I hate. Yeah. I'm
No,
sorry.
I get it. You can
I'm
soften. I
softening.
ain't softening for nothing. I know, when you get a feeling like I can be around someone and be like, "Oh, you're an asshole," but that's okay. Like I can just, I don't need I don't need a reminder. I don't need. You can type in Max Verstappen being an asshole on YouTube, and I guarantee you've got a good hour's worth of content minimum. You've got an hour's worth of content to just go look at radio messages. Just there's so much, and I don't need that. It's just,
You're
it's
right.
just feeling. Do you know what I mean? Or how does he treat people? What do other racing drivers say about him? Why did they boo him when they were announcing the cars this year? Why? It's like it's not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. Um, like he has this kind of like I don't care mentality, and it's really difficult to be a champion. Well, for me anyway, to watch a champion, because being a champion is like, is not about, do you know what I mean, how many times you've won. It's about
It's
who
how you
you
win.
are and how
Yeah.
you're the person you've become when you are a champion. It's how you treat people. And I've just seen this guy be like the most selfish and self-centered person as a champion and say some of the most selfish and self-centered things as a champion. And I'm like, oh,
But
okay.
don't you think that has a lot to do with youth as well? Think about it.
Nah, that has a lot to do with you as a person. There, you will see little, and let's bring it back to children. You will see little children, you know what I mean, at like 7 years old, and they show you that they're caring, and they will do little things, and you will also see a 6, 7 year old that shows you that I don't care about no one but myself. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying treat kids differently based on what, you know what I mean, whatever they show you. I'm like, it's good to be aware of, like, okay, that's gonna be a weakness, or that's gonna be a strength.
Hmm.
Verstappen is not a child.
You
He's a
right.
grown man, and he's a great racing driver. And I hope and I know he's gonna go on and, do you know what I mean, get definitely win more races and stamp that great racing driver thing further on in time. But unfortunately, he's gonna be remembered for being an asshole as well. And
Mm, that's.
uh,
Mm. I was trying to help you out, bro, but yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah,
yeah, I don't have anything against him, but I just call a spade a spade. I'm like, oh yeah, I get what he's on. I get, and he's a necessary evil, quote unquote,
yeah.
because it makes the, I mean, it makes him getting beat so much more exciting. Now, I mean, it's like you need the baddie. I remember
You
watching Stuart
do.
Little, and you ever watching Stuart Little? There's like the end scene where they're racing the boats. I'm not sure if you've seen
Yeah.
this. And there's that one guy trying to push because he's got this big boat. That's Verstappen. Yeah, I mean that's Verstappen, and it's like actually without that bully guy trying to like push everyone's boats off, then you haven't got the ending that Stuart Little ends up having of him against all odds making it through it, and do you know what I mean, and winning. It's like
You're
oh,
not gonna have that. You do.
yeah, you need it.
You need a villain. 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 You need a villain.
You need a villain, and that's what Lewis
You do.
Hamilton. That's what That's what we all have in Verstappen. So yeah, I'm glad he's up. You know what I mean? He got his second place today. But I am waiting for somebody other than Lando Norris to be a part of this competition of,
I mean,
you know
but
what I
who
mean?
better than your best friend to beat your ass? When you think about it.
Yeah. But look, I'm not gonna lie, the fact that Lando Norris is best friends with Verstappen, it kind of just makes me feel like I don't know. Remember when he
Why?
was
Let's
because there
explore
was
that.
like there was a thing where it's like what I think last season where Verstappen clearly ran this guy off track. And I remember Norris was being like, "Yeah, he kind of ran me off track, but nah, it's whatever." I was like, "You know what?" Yeah. And remember that last season as well, this whole thing of like George Russell saying he's gonna like, I think there was like some sort of abuse or verbal abuse, and and George Russell was like, "No, I'm actually not gonna allow. He bullies everyone. I'm not gonna allow him to bully me." And I was
Hmm.
like, "Yeah,
I do
go
remember
ahead,
that.
Russell."
I do
Um,
remember that.
and what was interesting about that for me was that that's how one of the races has to speak about standing up. You know what I mean? Standing up to someone like a Verstappen. Whereas with Norris, it's kind of like just going along with it because he's Verstappen. That's what everyone does, and that's what kind of made me lose a bit of respect for him. And that's my best friend. What, the most unlikable guy on the track? That's your best friend? Yeah, and he ran you off track and could have, you know what I mean, taken your head off, but he's still my best friend. Right. Yeah, whatever in it, whatever. And then naturally, that all stems from, do you know what I mean, the whole Lewis Hamilton not winning his eighth championship. Everyone that
Yeah.
loves Hamilton can never forget that. So, anyway, I don't hate. Just I want to preface everything I'm saying with saying I don't hate Verstappen. I think he's a necessary, do you know what I mean, adversary, and I think he's a great driver. But I'm not gonna act like I don't see what I see and feel what I feel when I look at the whole Red Bull team. There's a reason why they got booed when they announced their car this season.
I'm listen, I'm sorry you didn't watch Drive to Survive for the Christian Horner bits of it all, to be honest. That's like the one
Mm.
key thing. And you know, um, the fact that all of this controversy, all the scandal and everything, it's kind of wrapped up into the whole Me Too movement, you know, like the tail
Mm.
end of the Me Too movement. But I feel like um full disclosure, the only reason why I'm even a fan of Christian Horner, in the sense of I respect, you know, what he's done in for Red Bull Racing and for F1 as a whole, is because he is married to Jerry Halliwell, Ginger Spice. That's the only reason why,
Yeah,
guys. That's pretty
yeah,
much I he gets my grace because of his wife, and that's I don't know his wife, but I'm Spice Girl's wife. Um,
I feel you.
so when the news broke about the text messages and the whole scandal of it all, I was disappointed. I wasn't surprised, which tells me a lot.
Mm.
That tells me,
Wait.
oh, you didn't hear about this?
What text message? What happened to Drive to Survive? I need to watch Drive to Survive. Who texts
Yeah.
who? Has he
So
been cheating?
apparently, he Christian
Yeah.
was texting a female employee of Red Bull and
Okay.
not texting about Red Bull business, maybe Bull business, but not Red Bull business.
Okay.
And it was leaked about him having, what do you call it, on a relationship with this person that is probably would be frowned upon. I
Unsolicited visit, basically.
Yes, I don't know the entire story because if I'm gonna be honest, I was so annoyed with the fact that I wasn't surprised that I didn't even follow up with it.
Yeah.
I was annoyed because I was like, I believe say something go so. It might
Mm.
not go all the way so, but it almost go so. Almost. Because you never see smoke without fire.
You see that? You
And
see that
if,
there?
yo, if you not put yourself, Jamaicans say this all the time, if you don't put yourself in a position, certain things can't happen to you.
Yeah.
If you don't go a
Yeah.
road, your name can't call. All right?
Mm.
So the fact that this came up, the fact that like even some of the responses from me, it wasn't like an outright denial or dismissal of, the allegations. It was kind of like, like I don't know how it got out there, or there's a whole bunch of shady shit.
Hmm.
But Christian Horner is still the team principal of Red Bull.
But you see what I'm saying though? This is what I gotta say this. What you've just said and what you just broken down is exactly what I was saying just a second ago. It's like I know what I feel when I look at that team. They're the, you know what I mean? They're the antagonist. They are the what when you're watching. A film. Name a film where there's a goodie and a baddie. Like
Remember the
I don't know. I was thinking about the Mighty Ducks, but when you're
that
watching that bad. Yeah, I mean, when you're watching that team that is like the reason that this team is going to provide a necessary opposing force for us to eventually have a hero. And the hero
yeah,
is not going to come from that team. You need a Christian Horner to be doing all that madness. You need a Max Verstappen to be a consistent arsehole and have a number one, you know what I mean, on his car
I agree.
for the real number one to come through and do a madness. And
I
so
agree.
that's what like this it's like, yeah. Uh Yeah, everyone feels it and everyone ignores it, and that's why I kind of like look at Norris a bit differently because I'm like, oh, that's your best friend. Ah, okay, Antonelli needs to come through, and you know what I mean, like, or Ferrari needs to come through, and you know what I mean. But
Yeah. And
I
you
think what
notice
we
you didn't
could
mention George not once in that conversation. You said
George
Antonelli.
is,
You skipped right over poor Georgie and went right to Kimmy.
you know why? Because George is bland to me. He's a great guy. He does his thing. He's a great driver, great at qualifying, but he's just bland. Can you
He's like
imagine?
mashers with no bang.
Huh?
He's like mashers with no bang.
All of that. He's
Yeah.
like picture of Formula One if George Russell's the face of it.
Why would you do that? Like, why would you even put that thought in my head? Like, absolutely
You
not.
say
Like, remember, we talked about this
boring,
whole thing. This
boring,
nobody at all. George
no
Russell.
flair. Can you
What?
imagine? Even like even bringing up American football. I don't know why, because you're American, but like
Mm-hmm.
Tom
The
Brady.
goat.
People could say he was bland, but he's actually not. He has
No,
some gusto
he
behind
has a
him.
personality.
He has a personality. You know he's going to turn up when it's like the third quarter, fourth quarter. You don't want
Mhm.
to get him angry. He's going to
Don't
make
do
things
that.
happen. He can't run. He is
But
bland, but
he'll
he's
try.
something about him. He will try.
Yep.
And somehow, some way, he will find a way to win.
Damn
And he
straight.
has this kind of like, even though he's kind of like, oh, that's Tom Brady. He has this thing about him that's kind of like, don't mess with me. I don't get that from George. George is kind of
Yep.
like, I'm happy to have a conversation with anyone about anything. And I'm going to drive really, really hard. And me driving really hard is pretty dangerous. But even like hearing them talk about it, hearing them talk about racing is like, it's
But he's
too,
enthusiastic.
it's just like, it's just boring,
He's
isn't it?
like an it's like an AI bot giving you the
Yeah,
answers that you need.
it's just very boring, isn't it? But I think he's a great guy, man. And I wish him all the best. But I just feel like, yeah, George Russell, as the face of F1 is like, it's not
That's
fun.
a scary thought. That is not a that that does not instill like confidence in me. It doesn't instill like a sense of excitement. It
Mhm.
screams fear because then I'm looking at Formula One with the side eye, like, what is going on here? Granted, there
Yeah.
are some things that I would change, like about the whole MBS of it all.
Hmm.
I feel like that's a little strange. I'm not gonna lie. I find that position, him in that position, a little weird, and it's a little off-putting.
Who? Who?
MBS, the leader of what nation is he a part? The hell is it? Mohammed Ben
Oh
FIA,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a little disconcerting, just a little bit. So I think when they came up and said that um what's her name? Toto's wife, can't remember her name right now, that she might go up for the president of the FIA. I was really excited about that, and then I heard that that was just a rumor, and I was like, damn it, because
Mhm.
I yes, of course, I'm saying that because I'm a big fan. Susie, I'm a big fan of Susie. I like her a lot. I think she's funny, and she has a great business sense when it comes to that side of Formula One. So I was really interested in seeing if that could be a thing. But I feel like that man tried a long time to get into that position that he's in.
Mhm.
And he wasn't just going to sit back and allow anybody, let alone Susie Wolf, to come in and be the new FIA president. If something miraculously confounding doesn't happen, where, he's in like this scandal that he can't get out of. And even then, I feel like there's going to be a way for them to kind of weasel their way out of it. Like Christian, like just weaseled out of that. Because I'm
Yeah.
confounded as to how Max is still with that team and just dislikes Christian Horner that much, to the point where he wanted him off that team. I don't know how deeply he pushed it, but from my
Mm.
understanding, he didn't want him to be a part of Red Bull if Christian was going to be a part of Red Bull, and he's still there. So it tells me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. There's all these sports. There's always some behind the back, underhanded stuff happening. I mean, it's
I
all
agree.
sports, whether it's NFL and Deflategate or it's boxing or it's, what I mean? There's always some crazy stuff happening. So, yeah, I don't trust it all. I don't think any of this sports stuff is all completely above board. Um, but yeah, that's what happens when you put a lot of money into, you know what I mean, when you got a lot of money behind certain things, and yeah, guys with
I
deep
agree.
pockets, a lot of skeletons in their closet. So, but yeah, we
Yes,
move.
we do.
Um, Next week we go to China. Or, well, we don't go to China, but
Fine. No,
we
I
watch
can't
China.
believe I
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't do that, by the way. Um,
That man gets under my last nerve, okay? That little orange man. I cannot stand his
what orange
ass.
man? Cristiano.
I'm talking about our president
Oh,
over here.
oh, yeah,
He's the
man.
one
That's
that
not
says
our
that.
president.
He's the one that started that. China. And every
Uh,
time like I I hear every time someone says that, unfortunately, that's what I hear in my head. No respect to China. I love Chinese people, especially I'm very obsessed with that food, that cuisine.
yeah.
Mm, 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 mm.
Apparently, they
Got
don't.
right
The
now.
Chinese food you eat is nothing. Have you been to China before?
No, and I cannot wait
Yeah.
for me and my cousins to go because we have this like plan. We're gonna go to China and we're gonna go to Japan. And the food gasms that I've gotten from these posts that they're sending me in preparation, I'm just like, whoo,
Yeah.
mm,
Like Chinese people, like when you go to your local Chinese, apparently that food is nothing like what it's like in China
mm-mm,
at
mm-mm.
all.
It's nothing like it.
Um, and so that's really interesting. But
Yeah,
anyway, neither here nor there.
can't wait for that
Um,
food.
yeah. Speaking of China,
Woo.
yeah, I'm hungry now. I need to go get some food. But
Yep,
um, but yeah, this has been good. This has been fun. Let's talk more
yep.
about Formula One as and when. I was gonna say something else about someone, but I can't remember. It wasn't Christian Horner? Wasn't it was about someone I can't remember.
So, what was
I
his
can't remember.
name? Damn, I'm forgetting everybody. What's his name? That was with Williams. That's now no longer there.
I don't know.
I liked him a lot.
Are we talking about
It's
George
not
Russell?
him. No. Mm-mm. Team principal, Gunther. I'm gonna miss
Okay.
Gunther.
Oh yeah, Gunther Steiner.
And his ad libs. His ad libs were quite funny. Looking like a bunch of wankers.
I think I was saying about George Russell. I don't know.
What
I
else
don't
could
know.
be said about poor Georgie boy
I don't
with
know.
his
I think
007
yeah.
wannabe self?
I wish him all the best in it, but yeah, man, no flair, no flair. Um, yeah. Anyway, I think we're done.